Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Buki. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this lush seafood okra. If you've ever struggled with how to get the perfect viscosity for your okra, this is the video you want to watch. I'm going to show you a trick on how to get delicious tasting, drawy okra every single time. As you already know, I don't only share recipes, I share tricks on how to get the perfect recipe every single time. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button now. Also hit the bell so you can get notifications when I post amazing new content. For this recipe, I'm using some okra. I'm going to cut it in two different ways and I'll show you why. Next, I'm using some croaker fish. I'm also using lobster tails and I'm using some shrimps and I've left the tail on. I'm using some ground crayfish. I'm using some habanero pepper and some Tbsp. I'm going to blend these two together and it's going to form the base for my okra soup. I'm also using Cameroon pepper, some salt and stock cubes. I forgot to mention I'm using Iru also. First, I'm going to start by cutting my okra. So cut your okra to whatever size or shape that you like. I like mine not too tiny and not too big, but feel free to cut it however way you like. You can even blend yours in a blender if you like that type of consistency, or use a food processor to roughly chop it. Just make sure it's all cut up to whatever size and shape that you like. My mom used to make us cut it on a cutting board and then she'll ask us to go over it like this just to get it finer. And I've just been doing it this way for a really long time. Sometimes when I'm not in the mood, I just put it in a food processor and just blitz it there. Now that I've finished chopping up my okra, I'm going to take a small part of the okra and put it in a separate bowl and just set this aside. This is the one that we're going to use to add that extra viscosity. So basically chop up your okra and just take a little bit and set it aside. Now in the little bit, you're going to add some water, just a little bit of water. And I'm going to use a fork to mix it up. Just continue to mix it until it becomes kind of drawy. I forget what the right term is. It's viscosity or something. But yeah, keep mixing it for like a minute until it starts to draw. You can do this in a blender, but that will make your okra really fine, and I don't really like it when it's fine. So I'm using my hand and just doing it this way to keep the right size. You can do it in your blender or in your food processor. So now we have two types of okra. We have the regular one that we chopped, and then we have this one that we added a little bit of water that is going to help enhance the viscosity of our okra soup. And this is what it should look like. Next, I'm going to blend my habanero peppers and my Tbsp. I'm going to add a little bit of water and just blend this up until it's smooth. If you want, you can put your crayfish in here and your Iru in here if you don't like to see your Iru in the soup. I know some people don't like seeing their Iru and they still want the flavor, so they just blend everything up, which is also fine. You can do it this way and it still works. Now that all my peppers is smooth, it's time to cook. So in this pot, I'm going to heat up some palm oil and then add my Iru. And I'm going to fry this for roughly about a minute. This is going to help release the flavor of the Iru for this soup. Next, I'm going to add in the peppers that I just blended. I'm going to stir this up and just let it start to cook. While it's cooking, I'm going to add my ground crayfish, my stock cubes, my Cameroon pepper, and a little bit of salt. Okra soup doesn't really need a lot. There's no need for any extras. Just ground crayfish, stock cubes, and salt, and maybe extra pepper if you want, is all that you really need. All of those extras are one of the reasons why the soup also doesn't draw for some people. Although I don't have that issue since I discovered this trick, so my okra draws every time and I can add whatever I want to add. I'm just rinsing out my blender and pouring that water in. I'm going to add some more water and let it come to a boil. Feel free to taste it now and adjust the seasoning. Make sure that your seasoning is right, your ground crayfish and your salt and everything is just right. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about 5 minutes so that the peppers are properly cooked. Next, I'm going to add in my fish. Now, I'm adding in my fish here because fish, first of all, doesn't take a long time to cook and they can tend to scatter. I don't want mine to scatter, but I know some people don't mind. So you can add your fish in whenever you want. But I'm adding mine in first. I'm going to cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes. And of course, it's not fully cooked yet, but I'm going to take it out. I just wanted the fish to cook halfway, and then I'm going to put it back later on as the soup cooks. But now I'm going to take it out of here. It's about 4 minutes now. I'm going to take it out and then continue the rest of this okra. I'm going to add in my lobster tails now and my shrimps. For your seafood okra, you can add any type of seafood that you want. There's the option for crabs, squid, calamari, and all of that. Those also work, but I'm just keeping it simple and I'm just keeping it to the minimum because this is really what I was craving for my seafood okra. So I'm just keeping it at this. If you know me, you know I love crabs, but I'm skipping crabs in this one because I didn't want it to get too busy in here or too crowded. So I'm just using lobster tails, shrimps, and my croaker fish, which I really like. I'm adding a little more salt because I tasted it and I feel like it needs a little bit more. Shrimps and lobster tails don't take a long time to cook, so I'm going to add in my okra at the same time. I'm going to add my okra a little bit at a time. So first I'm adding the one that we roughly chopped and I'm just going to mix everything up. I really like crunchy okra, so I'm not going to cook this too long. I'm also going to add a little bit of the other one that we mixed with water, the one that's going to help with the viscosity. So here's the trick. If you want your okra to really draw, this is how you want to do it. And I know some people like thicker okra, so you can add whichever one of the two to make your soup thicker. Just make sure that to get that drawiness in quote, you add the one that you mixed with water. Whichever one you add more of doesn't really matter. If you end up doing only the one with the water, your soup is going to end up really drawy, and that's not a bad thing. If that's the type of soup that you like, then go ahead and do that. But I like a mix of both. As you can see, my soup is not too thick, it's just loose. It's right enough for me to enjoy with some eba or even to eat on its own. Look at those lobster tails, they look really good. And those shrimps, I got my shrimp from the fish shop, and this is not a paid ad. People ask me all the time where I get my shrimps from. I get it from the fish shop, and they have all kinds of different sizes. This is a medium size. There's 2 more sizes, much more bigger than this one, and they're really good. I'm going to add my fish back into this mix and let it finish cooking. Because I didn't want my fish to break or to scatter, this is why I've done it this way. So I cooked it for 4 to 5 minutes before. I'm going to finish cooking it now for an extra maybe 4 minutes. Enough time to cook everything together for my okra to get soft but still crunchy. And this is pretty much how to make the perfect seafood okra. I know there are tons of different ways to make it, but this is the best way that I know how to make it, and I get perfect results every single time. I love the way my okra soup is looking. I'm going to enjoy this with some eba, which I've been craving for a couple of days now, and I'm so excited by this. I'm going to let it finish cooking now, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. This is my very lush seafood okra. Perfect with all the things that I was craving and all the things that I really like. You guys can do this too by just using this method, and you're going to end up with perfect okra soup every single time. I hope this is going to help someone. I hope you're going to try this out. If you didn't already know this trick, you're welcome. And I know there are also different ways to make your okra really dry, but this is the trick that I use and it works for me perfectly every single time. Let me just dish some in this plate and show you what it looks like. I'm sure you can tell that the okra is still really crunchy. Now my soup is a little loose, but this is how I like it. Just adding more okra if you want it thicker. I really like to have enough soup and not too much obstruction in my soup, so I'm able to enjoy everything. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. Leave me your comments, your suggestions in the comment section and I'll respond to them. Follow me on Instagram also if you're not already following me on there, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.